It is January 5th, 2021, and this is the latest update on travel restrictions to Colombia. Follow along. Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. This is my latest update for travel restrictions to Colombia. Again, it is January 5th, 2020, and I just found a couple of stories. Well, I found a lot of stories and then got it to 5 stories and then down to 3 and then down to 2. It's early in the morning. I need to roll to get my car done, but I wanted to make sure that you got this information as soon as possible because I know some of you guys are on their way now, like Frankie. Ben, I know you're leaving, what, Wednesday? There's a few of you guys that are leaving soon, so I'm trying to put this information out as quick as I can. If I'm offering any information of benefit, do me a favor, go down and hit the subscribe button, click the bell to be alerted of any new videos, and like. More than anything, hey, I take likes. I take likes as tips. You know what I mean? The likes help the YouTube algorithm. They help more people get to see the video, so much appreciated for everybody who's taking the time right now to pause the video and go on down and hit like. Thanks. Okay, so let's just jump into the first story now. I do a lot of texting back and forth with you guys, and I really don't want to put any information out there until I can back it up and, duplicate the source and not just put videos out every day and nothing new, and just regurgitate the same thing. So this is one that popped up and one of my viewers. So thank you that passed this on. I wanted to make sure that you got this. Now, I have not been able to get another source for it. I've been looking for Minsalud. I've searched and sorted everywhere. I think I'm pretty good at it. I couldn't find anything. But this is from Minsalud Colombia, which is the health department in Colombia. And this is on their Twitter account. And it states, and this was from yesterday, it says, we affirm conditions of impossibility of compliance for many Colombian travelers abroad of taking the PCR test. With Resolution 2532 of 2020, the possibility of taking PCR upon arrival in the country is enabled. But then the next one says, and these are all the same timeline, it says, Resolution 0002 of 2021 grants a deadline setting the taking of the PCR test in Colombia as of January 12th, 2021. So 2021. I'm thinking that they are going to start. It was difficult for them to try to ramp this up anyway right away. I don't know what they were thinking of. They had time to get this ready because the judge knew. I'm going to show you one of the stories, what motivated him to get going. But let's jump right in. I'm going to jump into my next story, which will be my favorite source, by the way, which is, where is it? Medellin Guru. This is like the ultimate source. I mean, he updates his stuff daily. I don't know if he's got a team of guys or what, but he is on top of it. And remember, the US Gov website for Colombia recommends that you look at Medellin Guru to get your updated information. So they're sending you here. So this is today. And it's entitled Nightly Curfew in Medellin and Antioquia from January 6th to 11th. That's right, Frankie. And all you guys, you need to know there's going to be a curfew. And this is just for a short period of time, for I think it's like 6 days. But this could pop up at any point in time, so you have to factor this in on your trips. Now, I know a lot of you guys are struggling. One guy just told me you're paying what? It costs what, $150 to $175 to get the test? It's crazy. Then I got somebody else who's going to going to Mexico, and this girl was going to meet him from Medellin. And she's like, now National's got to pay to get back in too, and quarantine. She's like, and sketched out. So I know this information is important for some of you guys. So do me a favor, shares help too. The more people you send this out to, the better it is for me to keep going and offer this information. So this one reads, nightly curfews in January in Medellin and Antioquia start on January 6th at 10 p.m., which is tomorrow. Nightly until the Dia de los Reyes Magos holiday on January 11th. Also, Pico y Cédula continues until January 11th, and there is a dry law on the upcoming holiday weekend. These preventative measures are intended to reduce the spread of coronavirus. It's getting bad down there, guys. According to El Colombiano, The government of Antioquia, in a decision, agreed with the 125 mayors in the disarmament of Antioquia, decreed a curfew for the entire department between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. every day starting from Wednesday, January 6th until January 11th. So that means 10 p.m., you need to be off the street. This is not, and I don't think this is going to be a lenient one. And I tell you guys, don't play with the law down there. If this is what they say, be in the house, dude. Be in the house, unless you got a spot. I'm not going to say where to go right now, but there are spots you can go to. You still want to, be out and about without getting stuck up. In addition to the curfew, a dry law was also decreed for the entire Antioquia department without exceptions from Friday, January 8th until 10 p.m. on Monday, January 11th at 11:59 p.m. Pause this if you need to remember this data. In addition, Pico y Cédula for even and odd numbers will be maintained until Monday the 11th, as it has been operating in recent weeks. One of the main reasons for these preventative measures is the occupation ICU beds in Antioquia, which is currently at 82% occupancy, and the Abura Valley is at 85% in the Orient region of Antioquia at 98% occupancy of ICUs. So nightly curfew in Medellin and Antioquia from January 6th to the 11th. Here's the dates. Medellin and Antioquia will have strict nightly curfews starting from January 6th to the 11th on the following days. And each day is the same: January 6th, January 7th, January 8th, January 9th, January 10th, January 11th. So that's 6 days from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. You need to be inside. So for everybody who's going down right now, you need to know, especially you get in late, you get in at 11 o'clock, and there's a flight that gets in, that flight gets in at what, 11:45, 11:30, something like that at the NDE. You need to know to go straight home and don't go out roaming around, even if it's a Saturday. Also, Medellin and Antioquia will continue Pico y Cédula until January 11th. And these are just the dates that they're setting right now. This could change. If you can't tell already, things change quickly down here. So this restricts shopping days based on the last digit of your ID. The Pico y Cédula restriction applies for going to grocery shops, malls, small tiendas, pharmacies, and also including banking and notary service. If you're not familiar with Pico y Cédula, well, here's the description. It looks at the last digit of your ID. So if you're going down, you're going to need to keep your passport with you or a photocopy of your passport, which I'd highly recommend. And here's the details. Until January 11th, if your ID ends with an even number, 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, you can go out shopping on even days of the week. And if your ID ends with an odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9, you can go out on odd days of the week. Okay, what preventative measures could Medellin use? And this is, I like the way he did this, is just a suggestion. Could this happen, or what are the odds of it happening? So he says, we previously looked at 7 preventative measures used in the past and the likelihood whether they will be used again. So curfews, number 1, very likely going to be curfews. Dry law on holidays and weekends, likely. Number 3, 4 days working and 3 days quarantine weekly, possible. Lockdowns of specific neighborhoods, possible. We see that in Bogota right now. They locked up 3 major cities. National quarantine, unlikely, he thinks. Pico y Cédula, possible, of course, they're doing it now. Closing airports, very unlikely. Obviously, they still want people to come. Between the head of Minsalud and the president, they've been trying to reopen the government, to the detriment of the people. It's as simple as that. The curfew measures being taken in January in Medellin and Antioquia demonstrate that this is the most likely preventative measures to be taken in the future. Also, Medellin and Antioquia are continuing the Pico y Cédula restriction that restricts shopping days based on that. So, and that's the first story. The next one and the last one I just want to jump through, because this gives an explanation of why the head of Minsalud actually had a change of heart. It's entitled, this one's today also, it's entitled Colombia's New Mandatory Measures for Incoming Travelers. And now, if you're not familiar with it, as of 2-3 days ago, they made it mandatory where you have to have a PCR test 96 hours. Now, from my understanding, you take the test 96 hours before that, and before your flight, and you need to have your the results, a negative result by then. Now, I've also got the question, what happens if you don't get it in time and you get it the next day after you get there? I don't know. But you would assume that once you get it, you could use that instead of actually taking a test there. I'm also trying to research and find out where you can take the test there too, because you don't have to take it on this side. If you cannot do it in a timely order, you can do it when you get to Medellin or to Colombia. But we don't know how much it's going to cost, and that's going to cost you, and you're going to have to quarantine until the results come out. So what it says in the order is you have a 14-day quarantine, but if your results come out negative, it will shorten that. Didn't say by how much. I'm just telling you what the literal is. I read the entire order. It's a lot of mumbo jumbo, but it was heck trying to get that converted into English, and I figured out how to do it, and I read the entire thing. So just stay home during your curfew times for now. Pay attention to that. Get the test if you can on this side. But like the first one said, according to Minsalud on Twitter, that they're not going to start enforcing this until the 12th of January. I haven't been able to duplicate that source though, but that was from their Twitter account. So this one says, travelers flying to Colombia must demonstrate that they have tested negative for COVID in an attempt to contain spreading the coronavirus in the country. The PCR test must be taken within 96 hours before the flight, or the result may be required before boarding, may not fulfill requirements ordered by the court. I'm going too fast now. Travelers who, for any reason, are unable to show the test results must show migration authorities a letter explaining why they have not been able to comply with the order. Who's writing that letter, by the way? There's so many ambiguities here. I mean, it is so much open to interpretation. So these travelers must go into a self-imposed quarantine for 14 days or undergo a test in Colombia that would allow them to move freely if the results providing they are not infected with the virus come in earlier. Health Minister Fernando come in earlier. So they're thinking maybe it takes a couple of weeks. If it comes in earlier than 14 days, what? If it comes in earlier than 14 days, I know some of you guys are going for 5 days, a week, or whatever. You're popping down from Florida like it's nothing. That's going to just ruin your travel plans. Health Minister Fernando Ruiz ordered a decree allowing this exception after the government decided to challenge the mandatory testing order by a Bogota court last month. Ruiz opposes mandatory testing for incoming travelers and initially invited travelers to ignore the court order until the minister found himself at risk of being arrested for being in contempt of court. That's why he changed his mind. They finally got to the point where they said, okay, dude, if you don't do what I'm saying, if the judge is saying, if you don't do what I'm saying, you're possibly you are in contempt and you're possibly going to be arrested or fined. He had a change of heart then. So it looks like he's been struggling the whole time on the job. Their turnaround is the latest humiliation of the minister, who has come under fierce criticism over his handling or mishandling of the pandemic. Ever since Ruiz took office shortly after Ruiz took, they're misprinting his Rook office, shortly before the pandemic broke out, the minister has become infamous for allegedly failing to fulfill promises and distorting the truth. Ruiz refusing to take advice from experts, and his alleged lack of reliability has cost him the confidence of health workers and local authorities who are largely combating the pandemic without much coordination with the health ministry. While local authorities are imposing measures that seek to curb the contagion, Ruiz and President Ivan Duque have mainly focused on trying to reactivate the economy with mixed results. So there you have it. That's the latest news that I've found so far. I am continuing to watch, but more than anything, you guys that are going right now, let me know when you're going. For everybody who's watching and you're going down in the future, whether it's January, whether it's February, whether it's March, if you have your date already chosen, do me a favor and let me know. It's always good to, every time you go into another country, to let as many people know as possible that you're going, because who knows what's going to happen when you get there. And you want to know somebody's looking out for you and want to know that you didn't come back on time or whatever. But I am also concerned that you guys did get down there safely. So let me know and share your information, share your stories with the other viewers, because it definitely helps them for their travels, especially if it's for their first trip. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching and be safe.
We have a YouTube channel. Like it.
Please comment and share if you like the video. Please subscribe and click the bell.